Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Women of the Particular Age podcast, where we discuss women's views, life lessons, and a little bit of sugar honey iced tea. I am your host, Tara, and here is my friend.
Heather, hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Hey, friend, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you for asking. How about you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. But before we get started, I'm gonna ask you how your day was. But friend, you look so bright, so colorful. You look so youthful. What are you
Oh,
wearing, darling? What are you doing?
well, what am I wearing?
Yes.
First of all, I have to say I am wearing one of my new lip glosses, which
Okay.
is the lip oils, which has kind of
Okay.
a little shiny little orange tinge to
Yes.
it. And
Yes, I see it here.
I am wearing my turkey earrings that I
Okay.
did not wear for Thanksgiving. Gobble,
Oh,
gobble,
wow.
gobble,
We missed it for the
gobble, gobble,
recap, you
gobble.
guys. She's recapping now with these turkey earrings.
Look,
Okay, girl. Oh,
grateful.
look at that.
My
Oh, that
turkey's
is a
just
nice
grateful.
sweater.
Yes,
Girl, she
thank you,
got
thank
turkey and
you.
she's grateful for it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm grateful for everything. I'm grateful for this opportunity to be with you here, sharing this
You crazy
wonderful
thing.
podcast we started,
Oh,
and hope that
man.
everybody's going to continue to enjoy.
That's right.
Because
That's
I am.
right.
I'm having a good time with you, friend.
That's right. Good. Because I'm having a good time with you. So, listen, you guys, before we get started, please like, share, and subscribe so you can always get all of our most current downloads that we put out, and plus some little snippets of things that we put out all through the week. Okay. So, Heather, tell me, how was your day today?
It was good. It was very busy lately.
Okay.
If I'm not at
Okay.
work and it's a weekend, it's
Yeah.
very busy. Got Went out to breakfast with a friend of mine I
Okay.
hadn't seen for a
Yeah.
while. Real early. We met
Right.
up at 7,
Okay.
and then went to Walmart. Then took my son to
Ooh,
work.
Wally World.
Then I saw my oldest son with his girlfriend because they were headed
Okay.
back to up north,
Okay.
and
Okay.
then had dinner with my husband not too long ago,
All
and
right.
here I
Okay.
am.
All
Yeah,
right. Well, sounds good, girl. You were busy today.
I was busy. I'm telling you, the weekends I'm just like so busy, especially the holidays. It just gets busy. How about you? What'd you do?
Okay. Well, I can tell you, it's Sunday. So anytime it's Sunday, I'm always at church. So I got up, I was at church at
Mhm.
9 o'clock. Once I left church, I went to go visit with my daughter very, very shortly. And then
Okay.
actually I came home and
Hmm.
I watched the movie, one of the movies, the movie that we're going to talk about
Yes.
tonight. I wanted to make
Hmm.
sure that I got some notes from it, and it was we'll talk about that then. And then I
Hmm.
actually did something that I never do. I took a nap, a deep sleep. So I never
Mm.
do that, friend. I never do that.
I
And I
know.
really got some good sleep.
Yeah, you're not a napper. You're always on the
No,
go. You're always doing
no,
something. So if you took a
no.
nap, you really needed it.
Right, right, right. So I
That's
did
good.
not listen. I took a nap. I took a nap. All right. So look
Okay.
it. Before we get started, what do we do, friend? Before we always get started. All right. Let's
Wine
put it on.
time.
It is our
Cheers.
time. We like to drink a little bit, a
Oh,
little bit more.
oh, look. Well, then I'm gonna have a little bit more too.
All right. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. All right,
It's all
friend.
good.
Look it. All right. So let's go ahead and get it started. So, folks, we always like to have, we try to have a topic for you and then a movie. So today's topic is going to be about why was Jolley Studios started or created. So I figured that what we would do is Heather would come up with some questions and I would answer them to the best of my knowledge off the top of my head. So Heather, are you ready?
I am sure. Just handle this, Tara, like as if you were in a deposition. Okay, this is really a serious matter. It's a serious matter here. Some really good
Okay.
questions that
All right.
inquiring
All right.
minds want to know. So, are
All
you
right.
ready?
Okay. All right. I'm gonna
Okay.
get ready.
Okay. All right. Loosen up. All good. Okay. You're so
Okay,
silly.
go ahead, friend, go
Okay.
ahead,
So,
go
my
ahead.
first question is, what inspired you to start a business?
Okay, so let me tell you how that got started. So for a lot of people don't know my husband, but for the people out there who do know my husband is an introvert. So he's not a big he's not a big man of a lot of words. But when he does use those words, a lot of times they're very profound. So I with him, it's not what he says, it's what he doesn't say. And I always notice that even though he's getting up, he's going to work and he's happy about having a job, he just didn't seem happy. So I asked him, I said, hey, what's going on? And one of the things that my husband is a fan of, he's a fan of making music. He's been making music since he was a kid. And that was one of the things he wanted to do. He wanted to start a business where he could make music and actually make money from it. Well, because I'm such a Virgo, and once you tell me something, my wheels start turning. I started thinking back of when I'm at my job, how people tell me, well, your voice sounds so great. You have a very unique voice. So then
Mhm.
the first thing that I wanted to do is, which is something I have been wanting to do for years, is to be a voiceover artist. So
Okay.
without telling my husband anything, I just went ahead. I started taking the classes to be a voiceover artist. I completed those classes. And then what I did was I took all my credit cards. I very carefully went through and investigated how you start a business, what are the best ways to navigate through it. And I actually
Mhm.
started the business. And once I did that,
Mm.
he's very, very happy. So we've been in business since 2023. Have we made any money yet? Very little, but we have made some.
Okay.
Um, I think what's happening is that now that we've gotten ourselves structured, because that's the key, getting yourself structured,
Yes.
then you can really start to make the money. So I hope I answered that question, Frank.
Very well. Very well.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome. Look. Need a treat.
Okay. So,
Okay.
well, you kind of answered a
Mhm.
little bit of the second question. It says, how did
Okay.
you decide on what type of business to start? So I understand your husband and his love
Yes.
of music and he likes to mix music, things like that. But I
Yes.
wanted to know, okay, so what made you decide, like with the voiceover? I know you took classes,
Yes.
and so what
Yes.
kind of steered you in that direction? What was the hype about it? You thought, oh, hey, I like this. Let me give it a shot.
I think the hype is that number one, I'm a very animated person. Number
Hmm.
two, there was a lot of people in that business who's asked me to start it. Um, and once I started taking the classes and I started understanding that there's different types of voiceovers because it's not just one. There's all
Yes.
different types of ways you could go with it. Once I
Okay.
figured out which way I wanted to go, I decided, okay, this would be a good way for me and Michael to both make money. I could get
Hmm.
my SAG card, my after card, and
Yes.
also me and my husband could do this together.
Very nice. Very nice.
So,
Okay. Okay. And so, I probably know a little bit how
uh-huh.
you came about this next question, a little bit. How did you
Okay.
decide on your business name?
Okay. All righty. So this is what's to me is interesting. Okay. So my husband's family, they used to have a business called Jolley Construction. And of course, when I heard that, I knew that we were going to use my husband's last name. So it
Yeah.
was really easy for us to do Jolley Studios because if he's going to do music, I'm going to do voiceover. It makes sense for us to have a studio. Now, as
Yes.
far as the tagline, I'm the one that came up with the tagline, which is creativity makes us jolly. And I figure
That's
since jolly makes you laugh, blah, blah,
yes.
blah,
Yes.
synonymous with jolly, laughing. Hey, it just
Yes.
worked. So there you
Yeah.
are.
That's really cute. And I like the fact too, first of all, the last name Jolly, it's just such a cute last name.
Right?
It's very endearing, like Jolly, you know. And I like the fact that you did studios with the Z at the end, you know,
Exactly.
a little zest to
Exactly.
the studios. So,
Exactly.
and I love the tagline. I think that's really really nice. Okay,
And I
all
have to
right.
and I have to tell you, with the
Yeah.
Z at the end, I can't take credit for that.
Uh,
It was somebody who I used to spend time with. They're the ones
okay.
that came up with the Z at the end. So I can't take credit for that. They came up
Okay.
with that. We wanted to be
All right.
different from everybody else. So
Yeah,
there
I
you are.
like it. Okay. All right. And all right. So the next question I have for you, what have been some of the hard and some of the rewarding aspects of owning a business?
Okay. Well, I can tell you the let's talk about the pros. So the
Yes.
pros are is that since me and my husband still work a 9 to 5, us having a business, us buying equipment for their business, advertising for the business, actually getting a little bit of revenue for the business helps our taxes to become lower. That's a
Mhm.
positive for us. Number
Yeah.
two, also too with the business, me and Michael work together a little bit more as a team. A lot of people don't know that my husband is a bus driver and he works a lot of hours, and I don't get to spend time with him unless it's the weekend. So
Right.
this gives us times where we have time to creatively come together, talk about new endeavors, and
Yeah.
we just work together on it. It's kind of cool that it's both of our names, it's both of us, and we're both
Yeah.
showing our creativity within the business.
Yes. That's so cool. So what do you think, what are, or even if it's just one, what do you think is maybe
Okay.
one of the hard part of, of owning a business?
I can tell you the hard part is the money, because remember there was
Hmm.
a lot of startup cost. I'm still paying on my
Yes.
credit cards for the startup
Yes.
cost. So that's probably the pros and the con of it. And then in
Okay.
between you paying your startup, every year you have to,
Yes.
update certain permits and licensing, which costs money, which people don't keep that in mind as well. People are so busy thinking that you're making money when you're really spending money. The first couple of years
Right.
you're spending
Yes.
money. You're not
Yeah.
making money. Then after that,
Yeah.
you're lucky you start to make money.
So it's like
So
you're investing in the business. You're putting forth
yes,
effort and the financial
correct.
effort into it. So
That's
later
right.
on it'll pay off. But in
Correct.
upfront,
Investing in
yeah.
yourself. Yes, ma'am. Correct.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So we've talked about Jolley Studios, and so I'm going to
Hmm.
ask you just a few little questions about our podcast.
Oh,
So
great.
how did you
Good.
come up with the podcast name, which I totally love?
Okay. All right. So this is what's funny. What happened is first and foremost, I knew that I wanted to do a podcast. I wasn't sure what type of podcast, how, and who are all the players going to be. Now, I do have some friends who do want to be on the podcast. We talked about the podcast in the beginning. Doesn't mean that we still can't do it, but I know that with all of them, they're very, very busy.
Mhm.
Now, so I had to try to pivot. I had to figure out, okay, I know that I want the podcast to be about women. I have to have somebody
Mhm.
who is going to be able to be dedicated to do this every week. Okay. And
Mhm.
because,
Yeah.
we don't know where this is going to take us, it might be every week, maybe once, maybe twice. And you have to be dedicated to that. Okay. Because you just never know. We don't
Definitely.
know who's
Right.
going to see this, what's going to happen. If we get sponsorship, you got to be ready for
Right.
that. Um,
Right.
I also, because I am a woman of a particular age, which kept
Mhm.
coming up in my mind. Um,
Yes.
I know that there were other podcasts, and of course they say 50 plus, blah, blah, blah. But I wanted to say women of a particular age, meaning 50 plus. So that means
Yeah.
all women of an older age, where we could discuss things that we talk about or things that we're familiar
Mhm.
with. Because
Right.
right now we're in 2024, and some of us were born in the 70s, and we have a little history
Mhm.
about that. We have a little history about the 80s and 90s, and sometimes we
Yes.
like to dip back there and talk about that.
Right.
So that's where
Yeah.
the podcast. That's where it came up in my mind. So that's where
Right.
women of a particular age came up with. That's where that name came from.
Yeah. And the name itself, I mean, like you said, all these other names that are out there,
Yes.
for women, 50 plus. I
Hmm.
have to say, and I have some prejudice okay, bias,
Okay.
that I think our podcast name is like fabulous is because it's a very I think it's a very classy name, like women of a
Right?
particular
Of
age.
a particular age,
Age,
darling.
right? It's just
Darling.
it's very classy, it's
That's right.
subtle, it's
Right.
telling you what we're about. We're of a
Right.
particular age.
Listen,
Okay.
listen in one statement. All in
Yes.
one statement.
And I love the, the WOPA that came out, the WOPA. I love that
Yes.
WOPA. I love it. I love it. Okay, great. Okay, so this is my last question I have.
Okay.
So, what do
Okay.
you see as our podcast as far as goals?
Okay. Well, I think that Heather, me and you've talked about this before. I think that
Hmm.
right now, folks, because thank you, thank God, we're in our 13th episode. When first and foremost, before we get started, we're so appreciative of everybody who
Yeah,
views us, who like us, and who are supporting us. We
yeah,
appreciate it because it's not easy to come on here and to just show layers of yourself. So we appreciate you. We appreciate you viewing, and we do appreciate you liking, and we do appreciate you subscribing. I
yeah,
think that our goal is, Heather, which we've talked about, is right now we're having fun. We're having fun.
exactly.
Um,
Yeah.
I think for me, because I'm going to ask you what your goal is, because I know our
Hmm.
goals could be the same but different. My
Yeah.
goal is right now for us to have fun, for us to continue to learn each other on this journey with each other, for us to continue to engage and talk about women's views, things that have to do with women, things that are uh, delegated towards women. And we're hoping that maybe a little bit later on, that maybe somebody will invest in us and invest in us enough so that we could do this full time. Now, luckily for
Yeah.
us, thank God we have jobs. So thank God for that. So this is like
Hmm.
our part-time thing. But I know one of the things we did talk about is we would love to do this full time. We'd love to talk about this every day.
Oh,
We'd love to
yes,
come up with
for
games
sure.
and we'd love to
For sure.
speak about more women's issues, and be more involved in it. And I know that we've talked about it. If we could do this on our own every day, we'd be able to
Hmm.
be a little bit more transparent about how we really, really feel. Right, Heather?
Right where I'm right there with you, friend. Exactly, exactly. I see those as our goals as well. And
Right.
I'm just going to add that when we got to talking about doing a podcast, because we
Yeah.
had very similar ideas and
Yeah.
passions,
Hmm.
and I had never really come across anyone else, even though I had ideas, I would say as far back as let's say like the late 80s and 90s.
Wow. Really?
Yeah, I had this vision of something about
Hmm.
women, but I never
Yeah.
came across anyone. I would throw ideas to people. Oh, wouldn't it be great if I could do something? And this was before all the social media, right?
Right.
And
Right.
oh gosh, Heather, that sounds so good, blah, blah, blah. But never anything happened. But when I connected with you and we started talking about stuff, I just got so fired up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have
Right.
found the perfect person that gets me. We get
Right.
each other and
Right.
we're very passionate about stuff
Right.
of women of a particular age, and we would love to
Right.
share information with women. And that
Right.
really sparked me. It was like I
Right.
haven't been this excited in something in such a long time that it's
Oh,
like,
that's
friend, I
good,
mean,
friend.
seriously, I look forward for us doing these podcasts and coming up with
Right.
all this stuff. I love it. I love it. It's just really ignited
Right.
my creativity. And this is new to me because
Right.
I'm not a person that I'm not a speaker. I've never done anything on camera. So for me, this is
That's
really
good.
this is really an adventure that I'm on. But
Right.
you know what? Game on, right? Game on. I'm ready.
Right.
I'm ready to take on, girl, I'm ready to take on the world with you. Okay.
That's
Whatever we have
right.
to do, we're going there. Okay. We're going to be like, what is that show? Like Laverne and Shirley, when they're
That's
holding
right.
hands and they open the doors to the beer factory. That's That's how I
Right.
feel. We're headed into 2025. Okay, we're skipping
Mhm.
along, and we we got momentum, and we're getting there.
Yes.
And so,
Right.
yeah, I'm just glad that I found someone passionate, and to be able for you to give that platform and say, "Hey, we can do a podcast," and I'm
That's
like,
right. We can do it. Why not?
we can
Everybody
do
else
it.
is
Why
out here doing
not?
it. Why
And
we
I'm
can't
just,
do it?
yes. And I was just so another thing we were talking about goals. You
Mm-hmm.
talked about voiceovers. That's something I
Yes.
want to explore later on. And
Right.
I'm open
Right.
to any other venues that may come our way, because things
Okay.
are constantly changing, right? There's
That's
new
right.
things coming out all the time, and who knows, we might
Yeah.
venture into something else. But
And you
I
just
want to
never
thank you,
know.
friend.
No,
You
you
just
never
never
know,
know.
friend. Listen, just listen. I appreciate you coming on a journey. Okay. Because a lot of people
Thank you,
don't know
friend.
this is a journey. This is a lot of work for us to do
Yes,
this every week in between us having families and husbands.
yes.
So this is not an
Mhm.
easy, this is not for the faint at heart. Okay. It takes
No,
it takes time and all of this stuff takes money. So we appreciate we
yes.
like I said, I appreciate you. We appreciate you coming on the journey with us. Okay. So
Thank
now
you,
look,
friend.
we're gonna
Yes,
switch gears, right? We want to get to
yes,
this movie. All right, so
yes.
folks, every week we try to bring you a movie that we've seen that we really, really love. So there is a movie that we
Mhm,
saw this weekend.
mhm,
Heather is the one that suggested the movie. All right.
mhm,
And folks, as you can see right now, the movie is called 6888. Okay. It is on Netflix. Okay. And it is a wonderful movie about 8855. Oh, hold on. Let me get back. Hold on. It is a movie
mhm,
about 155 women who joined the war efforts to address a 3-year male backlog. Despite the discrimination and the war torn conditions, they sorted over 17 million pieces of mail ahead of schedule.
mhm.
Folks,
Yes.
let me tell you guys something. I don't know about you guys, okay? But me and Heather saw this movie, and let me tell
Mhm,
you something. I was so grateful that Heather was the one that suggested it to me. I had seen it a couple of times. I said I was going to watch it, but guess what?
mhm.
She watched it. She thought it was awesome. She thought it was wonderful. Now
Yes.
the movie takes place World War II. Okay. Now we're talking about African American women that were in the Women's American Corps, which they call the WACs. This is the only Black African American Corps within the
Mhm.
1940s. That was the only
Mhm.
one that they had, folks. Okay. And keep
Yes.
this in mind. They were back at a time where racially, once again, we're talking about African American women back at a time where racially we were still looked as lower. Okay. These women decided to go ahead and get into the war to help and to be a part of it. Now, Heather,
Mhm.
I'm going to, because Heather has a couple of points that we talked about, I'm just going to tell you guys that I really love the movie. There was lots of times that I cried in between the movie. I
Yes.
identified with the
Mhm,
movie because I'm African American,
mhm.
not just because of the war times, but because of certain things that African American women still face within these times. So, Heather, I'm going to let you take it because I know there were a couple of points that you wanted to address with the movie. So, give us a couple of points and we'll
Yes.
back and forth. So, go ahead, Heather.
Yeah.
What's your first one?
Yeah. Yeah, of course. So, so the captain,
Yes,
Cherry Adams. Okay.
yes.
Well, before I even say that, I'm going to tell you that
Mhm.
the actors were phenomenal.
Yes,
The
and that was
actors,
played by Kerry Washington. Okay, Charity
yes,
Adams.
I mean, uh, all the actors were phenomenal. And this is a movie that was written and directed by Tyler Perry, which,
Yes,
you just throw
yes,
that name there, it's going to be good.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
so she, is a captain,
Uh-huh.
and she gets an opportunity to, with her battalion, to
Uh-huh.
take care of the 17 million pieces of
Yes.
mail backlog. Because mind you,
Now,
all these
Heather,
soldiers,
keep this in mind. She's thinking this is an opportunity.
she's, well, yes,
Mm-hmm.
because at that time when they were doing like their boot camp, there was
Mm-hmm.
photographers coming in, and she would
Right.
tell her battalion, look, all eyes are on us. They're wanting to see us fail.
Right.
We have to give the best of whatever
Right.
we have to do,
That's
because
right.
they're already telling us we're going to fail as a
That's
battalion,
right.
period.
That's right.
But when she does get this opportunity, being the woman that she is, she
Uh-huh.
takes it on. And they're saying, okay, 17 million pieces of mail. You got 6 months. Now, mind you, there's soldiers all over, scattered, and they move constantly, and they weren't able to get their mail. So a lot of family members were like, we're not getting their letters. They're not getting our
That's right.
lett's.
That's right.
I
And
don't know. I
morale
don't.
was going down.
And guess what? The only communication they would get was when an officer came knocking at their door, right? Knock, knock. I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
your son is unalive. So if you
Right.
don't get no letters or nothing, okay, or correspondence, and everybody's dreading that knock on the door, right? Because that's all
Right.
they were getting no mail. So anyway,
Right.
so they deploy the battalion with the captain,
Mm-hmm.
and they go
Mm-hmm.
to France. And so they
Yes.
set up in a very old school,
Yes.
and that
And
place was a
Heather, it
wreck.
was tethered, wasn't it? It was terrible. It was tethered. Oh my God.
It
The
it
oh my
was a
God.
wreck.
There was no good accommodations. They had to start from
No.
scratch with that. They had to clean
Yes.
that place up before can even start sorting the mail, correct?
Right, exactly. And the thing is that they didn't get any direction or help. Okay. This
Right.
was put on
Right.
this captain and said, do it. They
Right.
didn't get, you're going to get
Figure it
help.
out.
Oh, right. We're not, this is the plan. This is how you're going to do
Uh-huh.
it. No, because I think they were setting them up to fail.
To
But
fail.
the captain said, no, we're going to do it.
That's right.
What I love about it is the camaraderie and everybody pulling together from all
Right.
different backgrounds, education, and just
Right.
just really witty women coming up with ideas of how we're going to, like, certain pieces of mail that they couldn't tell the address or where it was going to,
Right.
and then they figured out the symbol system. You got to
Right.
watch it. It was so interesting. But at one
Mm-hmm.
point,
Yes.
this let me see, General Halt comes in.
Yes, General
Oh
Hall
man.
girl.
Now Halt was,
Oh my, he was a
oh,
terrible guy.
now listen, he was involved before they gave this project over to this captain and the battalion. He was
Yes.
not happy that it was going to them, and he was like snickering, like, oh, I like, he didn't want to do it, but it had the
Yes.
backing of the President Roosevelt and his wife,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so they had to do it, right?
That's right. They had
So
to do it.
yeah, so when he comes in, he goes in. Now he did not see this place and the shambles, the dirt,
Oh,
it
it
was like,
was
I don't even know how
terrible.
to,
It was
it
nasty.
was awful. And when he goes in, I mean, he doesn't even say like, oh wow, this is like really nice. Oh, you guys done
Heather,
a
it
great.
was pristine. Wasn't it
It was.
pristine?
It looked like a nice hotel, the way they fixed it up. I'm telling
Listen,
you,
we would have stayed there. We would have stayed there.
I would have stayed there. And then he
Listen,
was just kind
they
of
have their own hair parlor, girl.
that, yeah, and he didn't like that. Like, oh well, if they weren't worrying about their hair, they could be doing more mail, and this and that. Like
Just
everything he
nasty,
said was a
nasty,
put
nasty,
down.
nasty.
And but the
Right, right,
captain kept it cool. Captain kept
right,
it cool. But I
right,
think the people that were with that with that guy, they were looking, going like, you could tell by look on their face, like, wow, okay,
right,
this is looking
right,
good. But so he had nothing nice to say. But at the end,
right,
when they get to where the battalion is, where the sorting of the mail, and he just starts, looking around, criticizing, asking questions, and they're trying to explain how they had to figure this out by themselves, and they were pretty
right,
proud. Like, gosh,
right.
we day by day we're learning new things, and we're able to get this mail out to the people. Well, he wasn't
Right.
satisfied. He said, "This is a mess." I don't
Right.
like it. You know,
Right.
you're no good. You're not getting this
Right.
done. And then he gets in her face and pretty much
Yes.
tells her, this is a done deal. You're out of here.
Right.
You are out.
Right.
All these people are
Right.
out. And
Right.
she gets in his face and says, no,
Right.
I am not going nowhere. My battalion's
Yeah,
not
she
going
wasn't
nowhere.
playing.
No, he
She
goes,
wasn't playing.
these soldiers, these families are going to get their letters. They
Right.
deserve the letters. They're fighting hard. These families need to know what's going on, and I'm
Right.
not going anywhere. So I love that scene because she really threw her power, and he backed down and he
Back
turned
down.
around and left. Now, what I love
Okay. So
about
now
it
wait
is
a
they
minute.
got, yeah,
No, no, no. Go ahead. Go ahead. Really quick. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, no, because they were given 6 months, but they ended up
Yes.
doing it. I'm not going to say how soon because I want you to watch it. They got it done in a pretty, I mean, fantastic time frame. That I mean,
Honestly, Heather, that's really honestly, that's really the whole point of the movie. The whole point of the movie is putting already looking at someone, and because of what they look like or what you think
yeah,
they are, you're already
right,
placing doubt. And
yeah,
listen, these women proved they proved General Holt wrong. They proved him
they
wrong.
surely did.
And once
Yes,
they
they
proved
did.
him wrong, what happened at the end when they went through that train station? They got a standing ovation. They got a standing
Yeah,
ovation, Heather.
a standing ovation. Exactly, exactly.
Right?
Um, it was very moving to see a group of women like this, Black women
Yeah.
together. And you know what I loved about it? That they really had passion about the soldiers and their families. They
Right.
weren't doing this for themselves. They
No,
felt like we
no.
have a purpose. And I think that's
Right.
what really drove them. And one girl was affected by not getting any correspondence from, her boyfriend who went into the military. And of course, you have to watch the movie to get the details of that because it's very
That's right.
interesting.
That's right. 'Cause this
And
movie was so good. It was very good.
oh, oh my gosh, I really loved it. I mean, I thought it was really good. Um, so I don't know if we want to move on to the privates that are picking up the mail, the new mail that's coming to them?
Well, let's do this. Let's get to
Mm,
because we're about 33 minutes into and we want to get towards the end.
okay.
Let's
Yes.
kind of wrap it up because we don't want to tell
Yeah.
them everything. Let's get towards
No.
the end because we do know that at the end they did get a
Yes.
standing ovation. They did get the mail
Yes.
sorted. They got it done. Okay.
Yes.
And the part that was interesting is they didn't get any recommendations regarding everything that they had did, and they didn't get
Right.
that until these women were older, and they were
Yes.
older and all disabled. That's when they were recognized for all this work they
Yes.
had done, and half of these people
Exactly.
had already passed away.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
But it's a wonderful movie. It's got a lot of other scenes that are there that
yeah,
makes it very compelling, very interesting, and to see
yeah,
what they went through being,
yeah,
Black women in an army
yeah.
and treatment, which was
That's right,
different. But at
right. It
the
was
end,
different.
it was a great ending because even some people that she had confrontations with, Charity
Yes,
Adams, saluted her as well, like out
and
of
I thought that
respect.
that was wonderful.
Yeah, that was like he knew, like like this one got man who was a real jerk to her at one time,
Right.
saluted and gave her kudos. I mean, it was really, that was a really nice
It was an awesome
movie.
movie. It was an
And I
awesome
love
movie.
that
So
it's a real story, and I think
that's right.
people need to see these really great stories that are out there about women who have done, service to, like in this situation,
Right.
service to their country, and
Right.
and haven't acknowledged. I didn't know this story
Right, me
either.
neither. But look
It,
at that's
it
the
was
reason
ancient
why we started this
history.
podcast. We started this podcast so we could talk about women's issues and worldviews. So
Yes,
that's so we're going to have
yes,
more movies like this that are going to come out, and we're going to be able to talk about
yes.
this more. Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
So,
So
folks, listen.
it's a great movie.
It's a wonderful movie. It's a wonderful movie. So once again, it's on Netflix. It's on Netflix. So make sure you see it. It's a great, great movie. The 6888. Okay, folks, we are so excited that you joined us this evening. Okay, we
Mhm.
hope that you join us again. Please still like, share, subscribe. If you have any comments, please leave them down below. If you want to email me about some stuff, there's my email there, jollystudios@gmail.com. And if you want to look at our website is www.jollystudios.com. So we appreciate you coming on this ride with us at this podcast. My friend Heather, we'll talk next week, love. I appreciate you.
Yes. I appreciate you too, friend.
All right, friend, let's have a good one. Bye bye.
Okay. Bye, everyone.